Okay, so today we are going to be talking about solving the quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. Okay, so before you guys learn how to do this by factoring and completing the square, now this last method, the quadratic formula, will work all the time. Okay, because factoring only works sometimes. This way will work all the time. Okay, so remember you have your quadratic equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So the quadratic formula is this. When you have that, you have x is equal to negative b plus or minus b squared, square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. All right? So we're going to use that formula and we're going to solve all these equations. So I have two examples for you guys. That's all we have today. Will be a quick lesson, okay? So my example number one, I have x squared plus 3x equals 2. So I'm going to list out my a, b, and c, okay? A is the number in front of x squared, which is 1. B is the second number, which is a positive 3. And, ooh, I can't do that yet because I got to make it equal to 0. Forgot about that. So I have to subtract 2 from both sides. I have x squared plus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. Then my c is over here now. So my c is actually negative 2. You see how if I did not make it equal to 0, I would have c to be positive 2, which would be incorrect. Okay, so you subtract 2 from both sides to make it equal to 0. This is the only time you can do that. Okay, so make it equal to 0, then you can use the formula. So here I use that formula. I have x is equal to negative b, so negative 3 plus or minus square root of b squared, right? So 3 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 2, all over 2 times a. All right, so I'm going to go over here. That gives me negative 3 plus or minus. Let's make it x equal. And then square root. 3 squared is 9. And then here, this is where people make mistakes because they mess up their signs, okay? So remember the 4 is always negative, right? Because that's part of the formula, negative 4. Here I want you guys to count the negatives that you have. You have 3 numbers. How many negatives do you have? 1, 2. 2 negatives makes it a positive, okay? So altogether you have a positive. And then 4 times 1 times 2 is just 8. All over 2 times 1 is just 2. Okay, so x is equal to negative 3 plus or minus square root of 17 over 2. Here, there are two things that you need to be able to do. One is called the exact answer. If they want exact answer, they want you to leave it in radical. Okay, so all you do is you simplify this radical, and then that's it. And then you split it into two different answers. So the plus and minus here, I want you guys to split that up. X is equal to negative 3. First, take the plus, okay? So plus radical 17. I don't simplify radical 17 because I can't. So I took the plus. Now I take the minus. So I have two different answers. Minus radical 17 over 2. These are my exact answers, okay? Now, they might want you guys to find the estimated answer. Estimated answer means you just put into decimal form, okay? So you put this into the calculator. So you get x is equal to negative 3 plus radical 17 comes out to be like 4.12 rounded. Okay, so I rounded that. And x is also equal to negative 3. Oh, that should be without the radical. So plus 4.12 over 2, or x is equal to negative 3 minus 4.12 over 2. So these two answers give you the estimated answer. So you take negative 3 plus 4.12, that gives you, and then divided by 2, which comes out to be x is equal to 0.56. And then you do this here, negative 3 minus 4.12 is 7.12, divided by 2 is negative 3.56. Okay, these are your estimated answers. So they're both the same thing, okay? The estimated answers and the exact answers, they give you the same value, except this is not exact. It's kind of rounded, all right? So this is a long process. Make sure you follow it step by step to get the answer. Let's do one more. I have negative 25x squared is equal to 30x plus 9. All right, again, I have to move everything to make it equal to 0. So I subtract 30x, subtract 9, I have negative 25x squared minus 30x minus 9 is equal to 0. Now I do my a, b, and c. A is equal to negative 25, b is equal to negative 30, and c is equal to negative 9. I put all that into the formula. X is equal to negative b. Negative of negative 30 is positive 30. Okay, plus or minus radical b squared. So negative 30 squared minus 4 times a, which is negative 25, times c, which is negative 9, all over 2 times negative 25. All right, now you simplify. X is equal to 30 plus or minus negative 30 squared. Remember, this term here is always going to be positive because negative times negative and negative squared is going to be a positive. So it's positive 900 minus, wait, I don't know if it's minus or plus yet because I have to count the negatives, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 negatives makes it a negative. So that's negative. And then multiply these numbers, I get 900 all over negative 50. And then I simplify this. I get 30, or x equals to 30 plus or minus radical 0 over negative 50. So here, x is equal to 30. Now, radical 0 is just 0, so it's gone. I don't need that. So I have this. So x is equal to, you simplify that, you get negative 5/5. Okay? So in this problem, because the thing under the radical becomes 0, you have only one solution. Because plus and minus 0 doesn't change anything, so you have one solution. So the exact answer is the same as the estimated answer. Okay, there is no difference. And so there is going to be a case where um, that number there can become a negative number. So when that happens, you have an imaginary solution. Okay, but we're not going to talk about that now because that gets pretty deep. So there is a case where that becomes negative, okay? So you guys got to be aware it does happen. We're just not going to have to deal with it in this summer school, okay?